Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. I suppose I've already kind of spoiled this one for you by the title and the thumbnail, but yes, this is the current world damage record by far. Apparently the person in second place does 50,000 less damage than this. The current world damage record in the French Tier 9 cruiser, the Brest. Yes, I know it's juvenile. No, that doesn't mean it's not still funny. I'm sorry, France. I mean, I'm not really sorry. But you have to understand just how funny the name of that city is in the English language. I mean, to be completely fair to France, there are plenty of places that are funny in the English language, and they're in England. For example, there's a road in London called Back Passage. There's a street in London called Cumming Street. And then you look at some English village and place names. We've got Bell End, which apparently is near some place called Licky End, Boggy Bottom, Booty Lane, Brown Willie in Cornwall. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But Brest is just funnier because it's French. It's funny how some things just don't translate well into other languages. Or, in the case of Brest in France, translate very well into other languages. Like, you know, there was a Toyota used to do a car called the MR2. And it's known in France as the Toyota shit. Because if you... I'm not making this up, right? Because this works both ways, you see. In France, the word for shit is merde. M-R-2. Two in France is de, so it's the MR2. It's the merde. The Toyota shit. Toyota really didn't think that one through, did they? Yeah, anyway. The only downside of this battle is there aren't a pair of breasts. Jingles, focus, for God's sake. Okay. So, how's this battle going to start? Well, it's going to start with a bunch of citadels. Oh, I should probably introduce the star of today's show. This is Scalesor. He's the captain of our Brest today. He is our Brest handler. More citadels. Okay, look, I'll calm down. I'll try to take this at least moderately seriously. I'm sorry, but these jokes just write themselves. Oh, look. After witnessing the spanking that the Prinz Ruprecht, a battleship, by the way, just suffered at the hands of the Brest here, a light cruiser thinks he's going to do better. And, yep. Triple citadel this time. Oh yeah, he's not having a good game, is he? The Prinz Ruprecht's just gone down. Oh, I should probably point out, this is arms race, by the way. And I feel like most of you probably understand by now, but I also feel like there's going to be new people around who don't understand why you often see world damage records in the arms race game mode, so I'll have to give a brief explanation. Oh wow, the Shamanto's just decided nope, and he's turning around to give broadside in the other direction. So that's 2 casualties inflicted on the enemy team, 1 battleship, 1 light cruiser. Okay, so arms mode. I'll keep this quick because most of you have definitely heard this before. Oh, hang on a second. Really? Shores? Light cruiser? Stationary in open water? Only just started moving? Too little too late, methinks. Oh wow, he survived. He totally didn't deserve to. So, anyway, arms race. And the reason why you see so many world damage records in the arms race game mode is because of the buffs that you can pick up, which will increase the hit points of your ship, which will give you hit point regeneration, so even if you get spanked, you can recover more health to get spanked again. There's just a lot more hit points available to... Whoa! Holy shit. Well, that seemed entirely fair and reasonable. I mean, the Shores is sitting basically stationary and broadside on in open water, doesn't get citadeled, starts moving, angles away, gets citadeled. To be fair, the Brest does have big guns. I mean, it's a cruiser, but it's basically got exactly the same guns, mounted in exactly the same turrets, as the hilariously easy to mispronounce French Tier 6 battleship, the Dunkerque. I know, France, I'm doing it again. I know, France. I know it seems very unlikely that there's going to be an Englishman alive who's aware of what happened in Dunkirk in 1940 who could possibly not know how to pronounce the name of the town. But if you insist on spelling it that way, I'm going to pronounce it that way. Dunkerque it is. Oh no, spotted in open water by a battleship. It's fine, it's agonizing now, it wouldn't be able to hit him anyway. The guns aren't even pointing this direction. High explosive loaded, good to see. Firing against an angled battleship. Oh, now then, choices. He does have the high explosive loaded, which is good because the destroyer has just popped up. He set a double fire on the Gneisenau, and I'm sure the temptation here to shoot at the Gneisenau again in order to take advantage of his damage control being on cooldown must have been positively overwhelming. But he's a good boy, he takes some shots at the destroyer. And then, of course, you'll note that he's slowing down here, because you don't want to be sailing around the corner of the island straight into the torpedoes that you can guarantee that destroyer just launched. Yep, there they go. You see? Thinking and breathing at the same time. It is possible. People should try it more often. And there's the permanent fire on the Gneisenau. Oh no, is he pointing his guns this way? It's fine. He won't be able to hit anything anyway. What are you talking about, Jingles? He has a kill. Yeah, that was probably his secondaries. Oof. Yeah. The high explosive on this thing does pack a bit of a punch. I mean, you know, it's not British, it's not a Conqueror, it's not a Lion, but it's not bad. Oh, did you see that? Or rather, did you hear that? You have to pay attention to the audio cues in this game. Scalzor heard his secondaries going off. He knew the two ships in front of him, the Gneisenau and the Le Fantasque, were not in secondary range. Quick check behind him. Yep, enemy destroyer just popped up. Nothing to worry about, of course. Plenty of islands between himself and any torpedoes that the Shiratsu may have launched, and he is way too close to a destroyer and two other friendly ships to... yeah, he's dead. Swiftly followed by our friend in the Gneisenau. I have to admit, this is turning into a bit of a rout. I mean, they've got double the number of kills of the enemy team and a 200 nearly point lead. Well, of course they do, Jingles. This is a world damage record. Yeah, but stop and think about that for a minute. That makes it harder to get a damage record, not easier. There's hardly anything left for him to farm damage on. The rest of the team are busy spanking everything just as hard as he is. Well, maybe not quite as hard. He is up to 131,000 damage after all, but you know, there's a lot of competition for the limited amount of hit points still available on the enemy team here. Generally, when you see somebody getting a world damage record, I mean, one, it usually occurs in an arms race battle. Oh, there's the Confederate award, very nice. And two, generally, you want your team to be kind of bad, and the enemy team also kind of bad, but just a little bit not quite as bad as your team. And you need to be in a strong ship and, you know what you're doing. I'm not saying the Brest isn't a strong ship. It's a good ship. You know, it's battleship guns on a Tier 9 cruiser. But it's Tier 6 battleship guns on a Tier 9 cruiser. And even at Tier 6, there's a world of difference between the type of calibers typically carried by different nations. You know, these aren't the 15-inch guns that you get on the Warspite. They're not even the 14-inch guns that you get on the Fuso. These are the 13-inch guns that you get on the Dunkerque. And despite the fact that this thing is 3 tiers higher than the ship it borrows the guns from, it actually has a 2-second longer reload. Although it does get better accuracy because it's a cruiser, not a battleship. But still, you know, 13-inch guns at Tier 9 with a slower reload? You see how the Alaska B here is trying to bait him into shooting the belt by making him think that he's about to turn and give broadside? That's some smart play from the Alaska, I have to admit. Scalzor raising his sights, going for the superstructure shots, hoping to knock out a gun turret, in the same way that the Alaska did just do to him. That's why his damage control's now on cooldown. So this is the downside of putting all of your eggs into 2 baskets. When you only have 2 turrets, you lose 1, kiss goodbye to half your firepower. It's a problem that the Dunker Q suffers from as well. Although in reality, to be completely fair to the French, they thought about that. And the gun turrets, these turrets, were actually compartmentalised. So they were divided into 2 internally. So if you did get a penetrating hit on one of the turrets, you wouldn't lose all 4 guns. There's the kill on the Alaska. How's the damage looking? Yeah, 191,000. I mean, it's good, but it doesn't seem like anything special. And there are only 5 enemy ships left, 3 of whom basically don't have any hit points because they're destroyers and a submarine. So just when Scalesor really needs a target to farm damage on, here comes a big fat stupid battleship. Just kind of herpa-derpa-derping along, giving perfect broadside, pinned up against an island, limiting his ability to manoeuvre and angle his armour, and gets his citadel slapped. Not once, not twice. HMS Lion, thank you for your service. Oh, hang on, secondaries are going. We'll worry about that in a moment. I mean, Scalesor sees the problem. There's a destroyer on his flank. But first he needs to dispose. Dude, how many times does this need to happen before you're going to turn your nose in and start angling? Okay, never. Oh, hang on a second. Torpedoes. I think we know where the enemy submarine is. I don't know how his torpedoes managed to miss, but I'm certainly not complaining. Depth charge attack out. Scalesor's going to beach himself here. Fortunately, the submarine did get momentarily spotted, but then, you know, and this is fine. It's a submarine. It's what they do. Went undetected. Scalesor's hydro is on cooldown, but it's about to come off cooldown. Now, just watch this. Anti-submarine warfare, wargaming style. There's the hydro. That submarine is about 100 metres off his port beam. And with his sonar running, he can't see him. Fuck off, game. Right, fine. Shoot at the destroyer. Oh, Jingles, you keep saying this and it's wrong. It's not sonar, is it? It's hydroacoustic search. It's hydrophones. Well, I can see how you might be confused by the sound of the sonar going off when he activates the consumable. Plus, it's hydroacoustic search. It's not hydroacoustic listen. And yes, the Cherbourg over there, he is also using his hydro, and still nothing. Wow, who are those torpedoes aimed at? Maybe the Cherbourg? I don't know. And then, with an impressive 282,000 damage, but still not looking like a world damage record, Scalesor could really use another big, dumb, stupid, not particularly well-armed battleship sailing at basically point-blank range for these kind of guns, given a nice big flat broadside to shoot at. Oh, hello, Iwami. So glad you could turn up. And there's 312,000 damage done. Can he get the kill? It'd be nice. Yes, and there's the Kraken Unleashed. That just leaves the submarine that nobody can see, despite the fact that basically everybody is running hydro. Fuck off, game. Hang on. Spotted. Which means the submarine is either on the surface or at periscope depth, so it's not like it's hiding below a thermocline or anything, and still nobody can see him. He's got a fairly good idea of where he's going to be, though. There go the depth charges. There goes everybody's depth charges. Oh, man. Yeah. Honestly. 4 years of testing, and this is the best they could come up with. Doesn't matter. They've captured the key area, which means that their points gain is increasing exponentially. I mean, the enemy team only have 1 surviving ship and 20 points. This was a bit of a rout. So the submarine lives to fight again another day. And Scalesor, with 318,000 damage done, sets the current world damage record for the Brest. I'm sure Scalesor would like to thank, let's make a list of all the ships that he absolutely spanked. The Prinz Ruprecht right at the beginning, then the Shimanto, and of course let's not forget the contributions provided by the Lion and the Iwami. Without their sterling contribution to damage farming, I'm pretty sure that this particular world damage record just wouldn't have been possible. Scales ore in the Brest. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.